Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, as we talk about the real estate market right now, let's talk a little bit about what to do and what not to do when you're preparing your Colorado home for sale.
Yeah, I would say, Richard, that most people don't live in their home the same way they would present it to the market. It's just normal life. You get busy, you come in the house, you drop stuff and on kitchen counter. You should see my office. It's a mess. I try to keep it neat and tidy, but it just it doesn't happen. Same with the kitchen counter. That's kind of ground zero. Those three spaces, kitchen counter, desk, and laundry room, especially since it comes in from the garage, are collection points of stuff. And some people just get used to it. They don't really pay any attention to it. And it doesn't matter if you're not showing your house to somebody. But the problem is your competition when you're selling your home are homes that look like models. So they have to look beautiful. And so that's part of what we do is we'll walk through and help people get their homes ready so that it looks gorgeous online because we know the first showing is online. And if the buyers don't like what they see on the internet, they are not even going to ask to come and look at it. That's just how it is. That is your first line of attraction online. So you really have to get that right. And we spend a lot of time and effort. I have a lot of staff that looks at that. So we look at the pictures. We can digitally extract just about anything, including trucks and cars and people and trash cans and stuff on the counter and pretty much you name it. We've emptied out laundry rooms except for the washer and dryer. But we're doing that because we want to attract buyers to want to come and see the home. When they show up, if there's a few little bits of clutter laying around, they're not going to remember. But some of the things are really distracting in a picture. Things like the little rugs, on the floor in the kitchen or the bathrooms. Any stuff on the kitchen counter really is distracting. Any overwhelm of furniture and decoration sometimes can be very, very distracting for a buyer because you want them to visualize themselves living in the home. So it has to be a lot more austere or plain than how you would normally live. And usually, when our clients get done with the staging consult, they'll tell me, it doesn't look like anybody lives here. Why are we doing this? And I'm like, just trust me, it's gonna be the thing that gets people to want to come and see your home. So some of the things that you need to do up front, first of all, is pick a selling strategy. Not every home is going to go on the market with a target of being a pretty home, right? There are some that need work, okay? So if you're planning on selling a home as is, you're not going to do any upgrades to it, but it needs work. There is a price for that. It's not the same price as the full retail value. The studies from the National Association of Realtors indicate that 40% of buyers will pass by on a home that appears to need work or look like it needs work when they're looking at it online. And some of the things stand out that may not be obvious to the naked eye. Like if the carpet is older, you can see the traffic areas. It really comes out in a camera. Sometimes the buyers are like, it needs carpet. I don't have the extra resources to put it in. I'm going to pivot to this other home or go to a new home or something like that. So you have to consider a lot of things. You have to consider what's most important to you. Is it price? Is it timing? Is it who buys the house? I've actually had people say that to me. What's most important? They say, I just want a nice family to buy our home. That's great. Okay. Um, is it you just want to get it sold fast and not have to fix anything? So we would make adjustments to the asking price according to what that answer is. And it's really critical for each home seller, absolutely, to have really good knowledge to make the best informed decision about how to prepare the home for sale, how to price it right, and it really is the agent's job to promote it properly. But the seller's involved with that too. I mean, if there's a problem with the picture that they don't like or they want removed, they should speak up and say, don't be shy. Number two is don't just guess on agents. That's probably what most people do is when they select an agent, they're like, oh, I know so and so. She was great when she sold my home. I liked her, which there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But it's probably not a bad idea to talk to a couple of different agents and just compare. But the question is, what is the criteria? So I would say most people probably don't have the experience of interviewing people. Have you done that very much, Richard, in your career?
No, not really. I think you're exactly right. I mean, when I was a trial attorney, I did, but other than that, there's not many times that you interview somebody with an eye toward hiring them or something like that.
Right. And my personality, yeah, and probably yours too, I like everybody. I want to hire all of them. So I'm not as tough when it comes to the hiring process. Oftentimes it is the first person that I talk to that I will connect with. But I've made some mistakes in the past by making those decisions, especially when it comes to big ticket items. So I think it's really, really important to slow down. There's no rush. And if somebody tries to push you into a contract, honestly, I wouldn't do it. I would just say, oh, we're going to think about it, because people do want to think about it and they would like to compare and contrast. So, one of the things that we offer for people, if they are planning on talking to several different agents, is they can go on my website, barbhasthebuyers.com, and actually pull down some interview questions for real estate agents. Some of these questions they are not going to like how many homes have you sold? How many homes have you sold around here? Some of those questions make them uncomfortable. What's the days on the market? What's your average days on the market? Those kind of questions, if they don't know the answer, that's a problem, or so but it's up to you at the end of the day, and I want you to feel comfortable because something like this, you're letting somebody handle one of your largest assets. So we actually have a free agent selection guide that you can download or just contact us to get it from our website. And that will help you kind of ask the right questions when it's time to interview. Tip number three is clean, clean, clean. Now, you want to kind of time this to right before maybe photo date that you want to get that done. A lot of people ask me about cleaning the windows, and it's kind of funny. It really doesn't, if windows have a little bit of, raindrops or something on them, it may not show up in the photos that much, but it could be on your list. Flooring is a big deal. It needs to be fresh, it needs to be clean, it needs to look like it has no deferred maintenance. Same with kitchens and baths, appliances. Pick up your area rugs, especially for photo day. I know a lot of people have dogs and they kind of, if there's a hard surface floor, they'll slip around. So, it's okay just for photo day to pick them up and then you can put them back down. The buyer's not going to remember when they come and look at the home. Little things like door hardware, any high traffic areas. Like I notice in our kitchen, there's certain spots that are always cleaning, like the handles on the refrigerator, cabinets that get open pretty often. So you really want to make sure all these things are clean and in great. Now, along those lines with the cleaning, be very, very careful about odors. People get used to the smells within their home and it doesn't, they don't notice it so much. Things like pet smells, like dog and cat smells, cooking odors, those can really turn off a buyer. So you want to be very, very careful about what kind of cooking that you're doing right before you're planning to do showings. Now, I know you have to live there and it could be very interesting, but just make sure all the trash is taken out. Look at the windows, screens, look at the light fixtures. Everything has to be clean. Now, this is a common question I get all the time about should I take all of my family photos down? And the answer is I don't think so. But there are some people that will completely cover a wall with their whole life story all the way down the hallway. It doesn't photograph well. It does it. is distracting to the buyer, right? So I would say you can put a small grouping of your family. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've just seen people just overwhelm the room with their world, right? Um, Make sure clutter is removed from the tabletops, countertops, bathroom counters, kitchen counters, even coffee tables. A lot of people like to use those little doily things. Those just don't photograph well. Don't set the table, clear it all off, maybe have one flower in the middle, and that's about it. Nothing too fancy. And also open up the blinds and make sure all the light, let the outside come in. Homes photograph a lot better if you actually have all the curtains and all the blinds open and people get a feel of what the environment looks like. If you have heavy, dark bedding, especially in the master, I would change that out with something just light and fresh and airy. Also, window coverings. I see there was a trend for a while where people were getting these really very expensive heavy upholstered type window coverings, which have gone a little bit out of style, but they're also heavy, like they overwhelm the room. So if you can just replace that with some shears, if it doesn't involve too much work, that might be a good idea. If not, we can digitally take care of that. And of course, clutter is always the thing. Now, we do include a staging consult with our listings. And so we bring in a professional interior designer that will look at your room, look at your house, whether you're planning to show it while you're living there or vacate the home and we put furniture in. Those are the choices, as well as digital staging. So we have all these different options for you. And again, the idea is to motivate the buyer to want to come see your home. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. And when we come back, we're going to cover the rest of those tips. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Remember, you can listen to replays of the entire show anytime on all the major podcast platforms and YouTube as well. Just search YouTube for Barb Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900. Barb, we're talking about what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. Give us some more tips.
Well, pricing is your decision. There are some agents that'll come in there and say, oh, your house is worth $5 million, sign right here, right? And they might not know, or they may know that it probably won't work. So get some education. We actually show up with all kinds of information for our sellers so they can make an informed decision. Every seller wants the most money. I get that completely. But at the end of the day, it's what a buyer's willing to pay. And before you sign a contract with a realtor, really look at their marketing strategy because that's an important part of the sales process. Does your agent have a team? Do they know how to negotiate some of those things? And hire an agent that knows how to get your house ready for sale. That's pretty important. There's a lot of different things that get criticized, scrutinized as buyers are looking at homes. And if they haven't sold very many homes, they may not see that at all. So it's important to hire an agent that actually gives you certainty of the sale as well. Richard, did you know that between 68 and 80% of the buyers out there have a house to sell, and most agents don't have any kind of solution for their dilemma? Did you know that?
I did not know that. That is a huge problem. If you only want to help somebody buy a home, but they have to sell a home, you don't know what to do about that. I got a suggestion. Call the woman you're talking to and you're listening to, Barb Slinker, Your Home Sold.
So anyway, we have solutions. Like we just had somebody make an offer contingent on their home selling that wasn't even on the market, and the seller was like, "Nah, I don't think so. We really need to sell sooner rather than later." And, they just waited a few more weeks and got a really good offer. And we offered a solution. We actually have cash buyers that could have bought their home and they could have bought it without a sale contingency. But I got rejected. They completely rejected my proposal. And now that buyer didn't get the house. So I think it's really important that you hire somebody that knows how to help everybody to get it to the finish line. So if you are thinking of moving, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, remember, you're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. And if you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the very most amount of money. It is probably one of your biggest investments. Call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what to fix and what not to fix when you're selling your Colorado home.